What's up, boys? Hey, guys, this is Paul Alex. I'm a serial entrepreneur, former detective out of Oakland, city of Oakland in California. Now I'm over here in Miami. Dude, beautiful weather, beautiful people, beautiful cars, excellent Peruvian food. But
better than San Diego, right?
Yeah, you made the right choice.
Hey, bro, I'm half Peruvian, and yeah, I did make the right choice. We're here, man. I'm flying my mom out here, fucking like every month, bro, because she just loves it out here. It's
paradise.
It's paradise, bro. It is. It truly is. Plus, you're not dealing with all the bullshit like in California. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But anyways, besides that, I brought one of my newest executives. He actually is the youngest CEO out of the 3 companies I'm currently running. Mm-hmm. If you guys have been following me on IG, Paul Alex, I'm a serial entrepreneur that does a lot of startups. So I do startups, and then I hire smarter people than me to go ahead and run them. And this kid, he's just blown me out the water, bro.
Wow.
He was a mentee for 3 years. Started with ATM together. Became financially free with ATMs, and then he came to me and was just like, hey, bro, can I learn digital marketing? And at that time, dude, we were doing like $1 million a month. And I was just like, yeah, no worries. Because here's the thing. A lot of people, they think, why are you creating competition for yourself? But here's the thing. Why do people buy you guys? Because it's you. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, nobody could copy my story. Nobody could copy your story. Nobody could copy your story. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, yeah, I'm known as the ATM guy. That was my humble beginnings. But he has humble beginnings too, and his story is fire. It's gonna give you a teary eye, bro. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
What's up, everybody? My name is Juan Jeronimo, 26 years old. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. And just like Paul says, I was working 9 to 5, just like anyone else. I started out in the oil fields of West Texas, and this was 4 years ago, by the way. This was back in like 2019. And I, just like anyone else, wanted to look for another way to generate, passive income, be an entrepreneur, work for myself, right? That was the goal. So started looking into entrepreneurship, followed, guys like Paul, my other mentor, Mike St. Don, who's our processor currently, and started picking up about the ATM business. And here I am, 4.5 years later with over 20 ATMs currently on location, making me $12,000 to $15,000 a month in residual income.
What did you do before you got into the ATM business?
So before I actually started, I was working in the oil field. So I went from working in construction, pouring concrete in Dallas, Texas, to getting the opportunity to go out in Pecos, Texas, in the oil fields and get paid a lot more, right? So I took that opportunity, and I was young at the time. I was like 20, 21 years old. So no kids. Had my girlfriend at the time. So really not a whole lot of responsibilities, right? So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I went to the oil fields. I started making great money out there. The only thing about it though was I was away from family, because I was driving out 7 hours. I was staying there for 10 days. Damn. And I would only come back home for 4, or essentially 3, because the 4th day I was driving, because it was a 7-hour drive. So I had to leave a day early just to get there for the next day of work. Yeah.
So you mentioned good money you're making in the oil fields. How much do you make now, roughly? Is it better than what you made before?
Way better. Yeah. So in the oil fields, I was making like $25 to $30 an hour, working 12 to 14-hour minimum days. I'm talking on the minimum. I had a day where I actually worked 21 hours. As crazy as that sounds, we get up at 2, 3 in the morning, drive to the rigs, and we won't leave till like 11, 12 at night the next day, and have to be up again at 6. So it was crazy out there. And although I was working that many hours and I was making $25-$30 an hour, I started off at 25, but as I started to get experience, I started to kind of level up. I'm a hard worker, by the way, so I was putting in the work. I was just trying to make some money. I'm young, so I leveled up to like $30 an hour, and making a decent check, but nothing compared to what I'm making of course now.
You were making probably like 6 figures a year, right?
Correct.
At that point, yeah. Well, I guess tell us about the transition. How were you able to like make that transition where you're working these 12 to 14-hour days while simultaneously running a side business? Because that transition period where you have your regular job and transitioning over to an entrepreneur is one of the hardest. It's where like 90% of people fail.
I kept looking into the different businesses, and vending machine turned into ATMs, and after so much research, I was like, I think I'm ready. This was early 2020 when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Created my LLC.
Was Texas locked down yet at this point?
Yeah. So this was when COVID started to come around. So
Yeah.
at the time, everything started to slow down, and I was like, it's now or never, right? So
Roughly?
this was January, early January. Work started to slow down at the time.
Okay.
And we didn't know exactly what was going on, but I mean, the work was just slowing down dramatically. We were like, why are our hours getting cut? Why isn't there not like a
So
whole
you
lot
saw
of
it
work?
coming.
Yeah. So I was like, something weird's happening. You know, I didn't predict COVID, but you know, it was something that was like, you know what? They're not letting us work so many hours. Let me just take this opportunity to finally make that move, you know? And that's when I started my LLC, you know, with my first ATM. And I started all by myself. Looked it up on YouTube, did all the free 99 research on YouTube, and started my company in January of 2020.
How much did it cost you to like get that first ATM and get everything running up pocket-wise?
All in, I was probably in about $5,000 to $6,000 starting solo, all by yourself, right? No mentorship, no courses.
Oh,
like
you
that.
literally just got your own ATM. You didn't go through nothing. You just did it yourself.
At the time I didn't, right? So at the time I started all by myself, you know.
Okay.
Again, I was like afraid to invest, right? I didn't want to
Yeah.
throw money into mentorships and things like that. I was just like, you know, scared to invest. So I started all by myself, and you know, it started off really well for me.
Where'd you put the ATM?
I installed it at a cash only cell phone repair store. So like they repair your phones and things like that.
Nice.
Ooh, but cash only.
Cash
Did-
only.
did you
That's
put it-
smart. That was the key. Yeah.
Where'd you put it in Dallas, Plano, Fort Worth?
It was
Where'd you put
Fort Worth.
You put it in Fort Worth?
Fort Worth. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was about a 30-40 minute drive from me, and you know, this was back in January 2020. I started February. I installed the first ATM, and
right before everything shut down.
Yeah, right before. So the only reason I was able to get it up so quick, and I'm about to draw some free game for you guys, I just started posting on Facebook. And this was before I was even a company. So I was ambitious too. You know, I was already posting, I was already prospecting locations, and that's how I was able to find my first location in literally like a month, right? So that came very easy. But then as I started, you know, as time started to move on, it started to become slow because of COVID, right? And then, you know, I was not a sales savvy type of person, so the only reason I landed that location was because he was cash only. He needed an ATM, right? But any other business that I was walking into, it was just rejections after rejections. No. That's when I was like, you know what? I have to start looking into mentorships. And then that's when, you know, Paul came into play, and I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, I started off strong, but you know, I'm a year into the business. I only got like 2 or 3 ATMs. I want to be able to scale to 20 to 30, just like him at the time. And you know, that's when he took me up under his wing. I invested into ATM together, started off as a mentee, and here I am 4.5 years later. We're over 20 ATMs generating me, you know.
So when you went to Paul for help, you had 3 ATMs going. How much were those generating for you roughly?
Roughly each ATM roughly about $150 to $200 a month.
Okay, so you're making like $800 a month off the 3 ATMs that you had before, and then once you got with Paul, you scaled it up to, you said $12,000 to $15,000 a month.
Correct, with over 20 ATMs.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're saying?
Paul, how'd you know he was the one? Like, how'd you know he was like on point, gonna kill it?
Bro, because like number one, he took action. Number two, he asked a lot of questions, and then number three, you see how humble this kid is?
Super humble.
Like, he's super humble, bro. Like, people are just attracted to him because when he speaks, he's like very educated. Like, you know, people like to deal with good people that get the good vibes, like good synergy. And that's what it comes. It's just like, you're very authentic. And that's, you can't teach that in the business world now, especially with like social media, bro. Because you see everybody trying to sell everything, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, especially with these baby boomers that have the brick and mortar shops, when they see a young kid going in there, they're like, oh, is he trying to scam us? Like, what's the deal? But what he knows is 3 things. And this is 3 things that I always tell everybody. If you educate people, if you provide value, and then if you build a foundation, you will always win them over, bro. And then never give up. And that's what he does, bro. He never gives up.
I'm hearing that he's humble,
Yeah.
willing to learn, and take action.
Yep.
That goes a long way. Just like get him.
Oh, no. Absolutely,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
And good people.
I think that's really important, right? And I say this all the time, right? So I went ahead and, you know, I got a mentor, Brandon Carter, when I started my fitness business. And the thing that made me take it very seriously and get into it, and I was able to scale that fitness business into a 6-figure career while I was still working in law enforcement, kind of like you did with your ATMs, is I had a mentor and I had skin in the game. Whenever you pay attention.
Yep.
That's what I realized. When you pay money, then you end up paying attention. But when it's free, you don't take it seriously. It's human psychology. That's why it's not necessarily a lot of the times that like the information is like revolutionary, though it can be sometimes. It's that when you put money into the game and you have skin in the game, then you're like, okay, I'm going to take this more seriously. It's going to make you sit there and watch the modules. It's going to make you sit there and take action to create the LLC. It's going to make you sit there and take the steps to do the sale calls and everything else like that, because you're like, I got money into this, I need to recoup. So it's very powerful how that can motivate you to go ahead and get stuff done when you have skin in the game.
Also, it's a mindset too, because when I came into America, I had the wrong mindset. It's like, okay, I'm going to have money, invest it right away, and make it work. But no, I have to make a massive amount of money, then invest it. But paying my mentor, I realized I was doing it wrong, and the mindset shift was different. And learning curve as well. Like, obviously speaking, you didn't know what to do. In that instance, you met Paul, the learning curve is gone. So it's a W.
Yeah. So that's the importance of mentors. And, you know, people always say, oh, this is a scam or whatever. It's like, and I know, here's the thing, because I was there before. Like, I was there where I was a regular W-2 worker. The concept of making money on the internet is a foreign thing. You think it's all a scam. This is bullshit. No way you're making $10K a month off of being on the internet. This is bullshit. And I'm telling you guys, I used to be a government employee, man. The worst offenders of being comfortable with a fucking paycheck, right? And your 401k, or we call it a TSP, thrift savings plan. Like, I literally bought into, I'm going to get a check every 2 months. I'm going to put money into my, into my 401k. I'm going to put my 5% because the government's going to match the 5%. Like, I'm sure with the city, you had the same situation, also with your job. It's very difficult to transition over to an entrepreneurial mindset and transfer over to making money on the internet, because you think it's a scam. You think it's weird. Like, these people don't really make money on this. They just make money on selling you a product. They do make money a lot of the times. Now, of course, they're scammers. Don't get it twisted, guys. There are absolutely scammers out there.
Of course.
But the thing is that what do they give you for free? If they're giving you a bunch of info for free that you can make money off of, then what do you think is going to be behind the paywall 9 out of 10 times? Right? If they're not able to help you make money for free, then 9 out of 10 times, yeah, you're right, they are a scammer.
And we tell guys all the time, watch your free content first, gain the knowledge, and if we get a road stop, then pay the creator for the knowledge behind the scenes.
Yeah, but like a lot of the times, if someone's legit, you'll be able to make money off of, or get some kind of benefit off of their free stuff.
Speaking of money, we made money from Paul.
Yeah.
With your stuff.
Yeah. So now you work with Alex, you scale up, you're making 12 to 15K a month now with the ATMs. A lot of people get comfortable and just kind of, sit there on their laurels. Where'd you go from there?
So once I built my tangible business and I started generating, 5 figures a month, 12 to 15K monthly, because it's passive income, and business depends on how it is.
That's passive income, guys. Like, you're going to sleep and that's coming in no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. So once I built that tangible business, that's when I, reached out to Paul and I was like, hey, can you help me out with digital marketing, right? It's like I wanted to, keep growing,
next level,
keep learning. Exactly. So I reached out to Paul. I was like, hey, can you help me? Like he said, no disrespect, we're essentially competitors, right? Competition. But Paul's a great guy. He's for the community, literally. Like, he came from law enforcement and is still helping the community. He was like, yeah, man, I'll help you out. Like people were saying, 15K scam. I paid him 15K so he could teach me digital marketing. And I started to put in the work, and then created my own program, my own mentorship program, where I was then teaching people across the United States how to start their own ATM business.
No, it is huge. And like you said, bro, like, if you guys think about it, all the major companies out there, they buy out the smaller companies,
of course.
Right? Yeah. But that wasn't the reason. But essentially, people always say, like, well, isn't credit card machines like your competitor? And yes or no. And the reason why is because we've been like taking over the market. We just expanded to Canada actually 2 weeks ago, bro. We're the first merchant service company to offer this type of service. So just think about it like this. Think about like any liquor store we got here in Miami, right? Right now, they're going with like the big banks, let's say like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase. And here's the thing. Usually business owners, small mom and pop shops, they'll go online and they'll sign up for a merchant services account. So basically credit card processing, right? And then they'll get charged a fee anytime that the consumer pays with their credit cards, right? Whether it's Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. And this is like the old school way of doing business, because you got the baby boomers are like, oh well, this is overhead. It's almost like a badge of honor, like, this is overhead, I'm not gonna charge my clients that shit. But here's the thing, with inflation going through the roof, I mean, you guys see the rent prices all throughout the United States. People can barely afford shit, bro. So what's happening, especially with like the digital space, with Uber Eats, with like everybody wanting to stay home now and not actually like talking to people like outside, like the world's different now, bro. So so what Get 'em and I saw was that like mom and pop shops, they were like closing shop, especially from like where we're from. We're from the Bay Area in California. And then even when I was in San Diego, we were seeing a lot of stores getting shut down. We were like, what the hell's going on? So they're like, we can't afford to be in business because, you know, all these bigger companies are either like buying it out, real estate's through the roof, rent's crazy. So we were like, damn. So then when in the middle of December of 2022, I got approached by two entrepreneurs that were in merchant services, John Sarabia and Rob Sin. And these guys are monsters in this industry, merchant services industry. They've been in the game for 18 years. They've generated over $197 million, bro. We're talking about
almost a quarter billion.
Killers, bro.
Yeah.
No, man. So they came to me and they were like, hey, bro, we love what you did with the concept of ATMs, which is an old school black and white business. And then you brought it to the digital world. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, man. So what are you trying to do? And then they explained to me what the new service that came out a few years ago that a lot of mom and pop shops don't know. And hopefully you guys, if you're going to charge somebody, you can literally use this for anything. So the way it works is called the cash discount program. And the cash discount program, instead of the merchant, the actual business owner paying for the actual credit card fees, is just reversed. Now, why? Well, a lot of people always go, but can't business owners just do that on their own? Well, here's the thing. A lot of restaurants here in Miami actually do, bro. I caught it. I was just like,
oh yeah, they charge you 18% off rip here.
Bro, it's fucking crazy. Yeah. Man, with the cash discount program, they basically switch, but it's just the legal way. They switch and they charge their clients. So think about it like this. Instead of you paying for the credit card processing fees, now you're charging me when I'm buying your item, your service, or whatever it is you're selling. And then it's called a convenience fee. We got killer results. Like right now, dude, like we launched it. We got our own results. We placed 60 of these machines around San Diego and California, and we were generating around $25K a month, bro, in residuals.
Nice.
So proven concept now.
So basically, these machines incentivize the customers to pay in cash.
Correct.
Which obviously helps the business out because, yeah, with credit cards, you know, for the audience out there that's wondering, you know, there's credit card fees, right? This is why, like, when you go to certain places, you know, when you go to a convenience store like a bodega in New York City, they're like, oh, no, you got to spend $10 or more if you're going to use your credit card. It's because they want to avoid the fees. Well, they want to make sure that they profit something whenever you use your credit card. And then some places won't even let you use Amex. You guys ever wonder why? Yeah. Amex, because it has some of the highest processing fees.
Then when they go pull up cash, where are they going?
ATM.
Yeah.
And each one of our clients, which was the first 30 batch back in 2023, each one of them made $1,000 to $3,000 in fucking residual income a month, bro.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Was fucking
That's
G.
somebody's rent.
Bro, it was fucking G. And you gotta think about
Passively.
it like this. This is
Poor people spend money. Poor people spend time to save money. Rich people spend money to save time. Right. That's the difference between the two.
Facts.
With UTMs.
Okay.
And
what's a UTM?
So UTMs are essentially ATMs and Bitcoin machines. In one.
Yeah,
Universal
I got one of those.
Universal, bro.
Right,
I have one of those, right?
You have a BTM.
Okay.
So now this is like, think of a hybrid, bro. Traditional
exactly.
ATM and a BTM made a baby.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Yeah,
and they're coming out with like,
I need to get one of those.
Checking cash. We might just swap yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially a UTM, just like Paul says, it's a hybrid of an ATM and Bitcoin. You know, you can withdraw cash, you can buy Bitcoin, and then sooner or later you're going to be able to start doing the Apple Pay, the bill pay, cash.
They're going to adapt. Yeah.
They're going to adapt, exactly. So, you know, UTMs, we're actually getting ready to launch it this month.
Wow.
And
if you're going to go with one, just pick one, have that make you some money, and then reinvest that funds into the second option. I always tell people this because at the end of the day,
Facts.
you got to have a mainstream.
Yeah.
You got to have a mainstream. My mainstream, humble beginnings, it was ATMs. And then I used that money to work less time at PD, and then I learned digital marketing. And then once I got into digital marketing, made a name for myself, right? And then got approached by the merchant services guys, and they were like, "Hey, bro, you're decent." Cool. Got into merchant services. Now that shit's growing to a $10 million company this year.
I was going to say, you guys are kind of cornering the market because on one end, if they want to use cash, ATMs are there.
Exactly.
On the other end, I'm like, nah, I want to use credit cards or whatever. Like, you guys got it on both ends, so
That's good.
It works.
Yeah.
What's the average cost to pay a local shop to host your ATM machine? This is a very good question. What's your guys' thoughts on this?
yeah, so you don't pay them a rent or upfront cost unless you're willing to invest in yourself. I actually just talked to a student who actually paid the merchant $500 just to install his ATM, because sometimes money talks, right?
Yeah, getting your foot in the door.
Exactly. So you could go in there by just offering them a referral, or paying them out a referral, or paying them commissions per transaction. That's what I do. So whenever I install my ATMs, I let them know that it's 100% free to install, and depending on how the ATM does, I pay them 15 to 20% per transaction. That's smart. You can get started all on your own, right? With 6K, 2,500 to 2,700, depending on which ISO you work with, is already for the ATM, right? So 25.
What kind of ATM model are they going to get?
A standard Gen Mega 2500 or a Hyosung Halo 2.
Okay.
Bam. There you go.
That is, beginner friendly. Is the best machine that you can start off as a beginner. 2,500, 2,700 bucks just for the ATM.
Okay.
LLCs, it depends. Depending on the state, they vary from $35 to $500 a month. Not a month, sorry, just to start your LLC. So that it's already for your LLC. And then after that, guys, it's just miscellaneous expenses like tools, which ranges about $500. And Volt Cash, right? The Volt Cash, the money you're gonna actually use to fill up your ATM, that ranges from $1,000 to $3,000. So the total, about $6,000 to $8,000 to get started with your first ATM.
Okay. Total startup cost is going to cost you about $6K.
Correct.
Between purchasing, how much should you keep in your ATM at all times?
I'm gonna say like $3,000.
$3,000 in there?
That's gonna be like the average, and then $20 denominations is
just 20s, straight 20s.
That's what I was saying.
No hundreds, none of that bullshit.
Yeah, the Hyosung or the Gen Megas, they only stick with one denomination, 20s or 5s or 10s, whatever you want to set it to, but it's usually just one. Okay. And that's what I would recommend anyone to use it. Yeah.
And then how often are you gonna? Well, it depends on the traffic of the business, right?
Yeah.
How often are you guys typically going in there and change? Well, not you, but probably your employees. But like, how often are you going in there and?
So it just depends on what you want to do, right? So I have businesses where I'll throw in like $2,000 to $3,000 and it'll be good for the week. I have other ATMs where it'll be $2,000 to $3,000. It'll go out in a couple of days. So then you have to fill it up with more. If you don't want to throw in a lot of money in there for the safety reasons, then you could always visit the location often.
Yeah, guys, bro, there's so much sauce we're giving y'all this episode, man. Goddamn.